Hello and welcome everybody back to the next video on my channel. This will be another devlog video about the game Glass Menace that I've been working on for the past few months. But this one is going to be a bit different. So instead of this video being like a retrospective of showcasing a feature that I have implemented in the past, instead I'm going to try to take you along how I implement a new feature over the next few days. So this is going to be a slightly different style, but I hope you enjoy nonetheless. And let's just jump straight into it. So in the last video, you might have seen that I implemented these biomes into the game. So biomes are basically special sections that are supposed to challenge the player in a way. But that's not the focus of this video. This video is going to be specifically about just the visuals of the game. So you can see I'm currently in a lava lake biome that we implemented. And you can see obviously that, according to the name, there's just a lot of lava tiles in this section. And so this kind of looks interesting because you have these many small lava pools, but they're not visually connected, even though they definitely should be. And so this is what I'm going to try to focus on. So instead of having each kind of lava puddle be individual, we want to connect them if possible and make this look like a bigger lava pool. So the same thing obviously over here. This isn't specific to the lava lake, so we can definitely see this appearing somewhere else too. But obviously in the lava lake, it is definitely noticeable. So here we actually definitely want this to be improved just visually. Okay, so as a first step, I thought I would just replace the texture that we currently use in the game to draw the lava tiles. You can see that one here. So this is just, the lava tile with actually the border baked into the texture. So that's why we currently can't draw anything else. So this is currently a PNG because when I started working on the game, that was for me the easiest thing to deal with. However, since then we actually got Eric to draw all the sprites. And he decided that he actually wanted to use a sprite because, he actually wants to draw good sprites versus mine that were just stick figures back in the day. So we now have support for a sprite. So you can see that in this file, that is just the pure lava without any borders on top of it. And you can see we have 4 different frames that represent the lava slightly pulsating. Okay, so how do these textures actually get into the game? Well, that's what we got this file for. So in our internal game engine that we're developing, which really is just the game running from scratch, we have the sprite pack file. And the sprite pack file basically maps our internal identifiers to a source file path. So what we're doing is, in game, we're not referencing any file paths, we're just referencing a sprite identifier. Which is a kind of semantic thing. So we say, well, just draw me something with lava 0 as the sprite identifier, for example. And the game then, for some simple optimization, the game will actually pack a lot of the sprites into bigger sprite atlases. And so this sprite pack file here is basically us telling the game, hey, when you build the sprite pack, the sprite atlas, just remember that the lava 0 sprite is actually coming from this source file. And now that means we can easily change that. Okay, so this one is living under a sprite animates lava.asprite, and because it's an asprite file, it actually supports multiple frames. This one is going to be at frame 0, and this one obviously at frame 1, and then frame 2, and then frame 3. So that means if I now restart the game, it's internally going to pack its sprite atlas again based on that source file. And what we can see is normal borders around the lava tiles, right? Because we're now using the asprite file, which doesn't have those. Okay, so now we have the new lava texture in the game, but obviously to actually draw the border again, we also need to register that as a sprite and then draw it. So there's 3 steps involved here. Firstly, we need to tell the game, hey, there is this new sprite that you should know about. And we do that by adding a new entry to the sprite index enum, which I talked about before. And so the second step is now going back to the sprite pack file. And obviously here we need to create that mapping. And we tell the game, hey, so this new lava bordered texture that, you know, I just introduced in the enum, take that from this A-sprite file. So that's, you know, when we start the game, it's going to take a look at that A-sprite file. It's going to copy that into the sprite atlas. And so lastly, we'll just, you know, for now, basically reproduce the behavior that we had before. So whenever we draw a lava tile, we're going to also additionally draw the border texture on top of that. So that's just a few lines of code here. We can just reproduce the behavior we had before, but it's now future-proof as to what we want to do next. Okay, so it's the next day. I already made some good progress. Basically, what I did first was add all the remaining border sprites to the game. So the same procedure that I already showed you, I repeated that for the other sprites that I need to represent all the possible borders. Then I actually went into the code and added this new enumeration. So basically for every lava tile that we have, I'm now tracking which neighbors it has. So a neighbor would be another lava tile that is adjacent to the one that we're actually looking at. And so this is a bit field, which means that, you know, we can have 4 possible neighbors: below, left, above, and right. And so whenever I create a lava tile, I track, okay, which neighbors does this lava tile already have? And obviously, when I create a new lava tile, I also update all the adjacent lava tiles so that they know about this new neighbor. And so if I have that, then I can actually figure out which border sprite I want to use. So I'm going to implement that next. Okay, now I actually implemented the algorithm to determine which border sprite to draw on top of each lava tile. And so you can see that code here. Basically, we're just filling with some bits to figure out how many edges there are and you know, where these are actually located. So you can see we're counting how many edges we actually have. So if there's 0 edges, this means that this lava tile only has other lava neighbors adjacent to it. So in this case, we don't actually want to draw any overlay. If there's 1 edge, then, you know, we're selecting the sprite that has 1 edge, and we're rotating the sprite so that it points towards the actual edge. So the edge in this case would be a tile adjacent to our lava tile that is not a lava. If we have 2 edges, this is actually the most complex one, because these edges can either be adjacent themselves, in which case we would have a corner, or they could be on either side, in which case we would have a kind of tunnel. So we have to detect that case and then choose either sprite, and then again do some rotation. If there's 3 edges, then we have a simpler case again, because now we only have 1 possible sprite, and we just need to rotate it again to actually point at the correct you know, direction. And if we have 4 edges, this means that we have a lava tile that isn't adjacent to any other lava tiles, which is again a very simple case. So we can just select the border overlay that has edges on all sides of them, and it doesn't matter how we rotate. And so you can actually see that in the game here. So I created like a developer world where, you know, we have a lot of lava in hopefully all possible combinations that I could at least think of. So over here, we've got like a very small puddle, and we can see those actually connect. Over here, we've got a more complex one. So we can see, you know, like if we have gaps in this lava puddle, that is handled correctly. We've got like a, you know, some area over there. We've got like a compact one here as well, and it seems to be working fine. I don't think I missed any edge cases. If I enable the light map again, we can see it actually gets pretty moody. And so this is definitely a big improvement over what it was before, because now this actually feels like a lava pool. So I'm excited to try this out in the game actually and see how it feels in, for example, the lava biome. But I'm pretty happy with this. This was actually easier to implement than I had initially anticipated. So this was a very quick devlog, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless, and I'll see you guys next time.